I welcome you to the first session of vocabulary. In this session, we will take a look at what is the relevance of vocabulary in competitive exams and how one can develop a good vocabulary. Words are the most basic unit of any communication, whether in spoken form or in written form. Almost every day, we use words, we talk about the meanings of words, the spellings, pronunciations, and we use words as a basic unit of communication. Let us see the history of words of English language first. The origin of English language starts with the Anglo-Saxon tribe which invaded the current day Britain and also occupied the areas. They brought with them a collection of words from a language known as Germanic by then, and that is why the original English language contained most of the words from Germanic. Today, around 85% of those words are lost, and the present day English does not contain many original Germanic words. But the present day English has been more than compensated by words from other languages like French, Latin, Hindi, and so on. And therefore, English is also one of the Proto Indo European group of languages. There are around 439 languages in the Indo European group of languages, of which English is one of them. And that is why there are many similarities in English and some of the Indian languages that we know of, for example, Hindi. Many of you might be surprised by knowing this, but let me give you some examples. Hindi is mostly derived from Sanskrit, and sarp in Sanskrit means a snake, and serpent in English also means a snake. The word tri means three, as in tri used in a tripod or a triangle. Tri means three. And similarly, the Hindi derivative three also means three. I can go on giving you examples of the similarities, but that is not our objective today. Just wanted to emphasize the fact that English is not a very distant language from our own Indian languages. Current English is a mixture of several languages, and now you know why. And it is also spoken or understood by two-thirds of humanity. That emphasizes and highlights the importance of English language. But English is a dynamic language. And let us see why English is a dynamic language. So, English is a dynamic language, and there are a few reasons why I consider English to be a dynamic language. First and foremost, word meanings have changed over a period of time. For example, gay. Now, gay has often been associated with homosexuality in the recent times, and therefore, one of the meanings of gay, which is cheerful or happy, is losing out. How many of you would want to say, I am gay, when you are happy? Let us take another example, cram. The word cram meant to stuff something, usually by force. Today, whenever we use the word cram, we are implying the fact that we are memorizing something in a very short period of time, as in we have to cram the words of vocabulary. Many people feel that words of vocabulary can be crammed. Another reason why English is a dynamic language is we live in an era of euphemisms. Euphemism implies a milder word that is used for a harsh word or a harsh sounding word. We live in an era when we need to be politically correct. And many times, this need to be politically correct results into our using words that are different from the more often used harsher words. For example, homemaker. A homemaker is a politically correct word for the word housewife, which was coined in India. So, another example, differently abled. We don't like to use the word retarded anymore. The politically correct choice is differently abled. Another reason is the use of technical terms oblique acronyms in general language usages. For example, the word radar. If I say vocabulary is on my radar, it has nothing to do with the original meaning of the word radar. It just means that vocabulary is on your mind. How many times we have used the word chemistry between two actors? Haven't we discussed chemistry between two actors? Look at any movie review. Almost every movie review talks about chemistry between actors. There is nothing in terms of chemistry of actors. It only implies the rapport, the ability of one actor to interact with another. and that has been replaced by the word chemistry. Embryonic, another technical word that is being used very often today in day-to-day language. And another kind of vocabulary that is slowly but surely making its way into our vocabulary is the internet jargon. ASAP is one of the most common coinages from the internet world, which means as soon as possible. It may not find a mention in Oxford Dictionary today, but I'm sure with the continued usage of this word, it is soon going to find a mention in one of the popular dictionaries. But they claim and say that vocabulary is not all that important for aptitude. I can assure you that they're definitely not your friends, because vocabulary is one of the most important things in preparation for aptitude. The importance may not be apparent, but ultimately everything that you read and understand depends on your vocabulary. And the better your vocabulary, the better would be your understanding of any subject. But can vocabulary be learned? Research data suggests that our vocabulary is not stored in our mind as data is stored in a computer. But the words are stored as mental relationships of a network of words. So your mind does not store words as a computer does in the form of a file. Your mind will always store words as a connection of other words. And therefore, vocabulary can be learned by being aware of the need to develop vocabulary. If we are aware, we are more likely to be cautious and careful when we come across a new word. By exercising our brains and by using them again and again in our written or spoken language. Now let us look at the significance of vocabulary. Obviously, if you develop vocabulary and if you give all the efforts to the development of your vocabulary, there must be some advantages, right? The first advantage or first significance is it improves your cognition, it improves your understanding of the subject matter. The better your vocabulary, given all other variables constant, the better would be your cognition or better would be your understanding. Similarly, a good vocabulary also improves the speed at which you can perform any task which is related to reading. In aptitude tests, this is very important because everything that you do in an aptitude test depends on how fast you are able to read. If the speed of your reading improves, the speed of your doing everything else will automatically improve. And third, it improves your communication. The more words that you have, the better your communication is likely to be, whether in the written form or in the oral form. So you can see that words are very, very important. And in fact, I would like to ask you if there are three advantages, such big advantages of improving vocabulary, would you like to have any other advantage? And this is the reason why vocabulary is an important ingredient of any tests that is related to aptitude. In fact, no test of aptitude will be over without testing you on vocabulary in some way, directly or indirectly. So with this, we come to an end of the first session on vocabulary. If you have any feedback or any queries on this session, please feel free to write to us at studentservices@pfindia.com. Thank you very much.